Islam reached the shores of the Philippine archipelago long before the arrival of Spanish colonizers. Its story is one of peaceful trade, royal alliances, resistance, and the deep-rooted faith of the Muslim communities of the South. You're watching Islam with Aslan, where we bring the golden threads of Islamic history to life. If you enjoy uncovering the lesser-known chapters of our shared heritage, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Now, let's begin our journey through the history of Islam in the Philippines. Islam first entered the southern Philippines through trade. As early as the 10th century, Arab and Persian merchants had established contact with the native peoples of the Sulu archipelago and Mindanao. However, it wasn't until the late 13th and early 14th centuries that Islam began to take a more formal and widespread hold. The most influential early missionary was an Arab traveler and scholar named Tuan Mashā ikha. He arrived in the Sulu area around 1280 CE. According to local Tausug oral traditions, Tuan Mashā ikha was instrumental in teaching the fundamentals of Islam and integrating Islamic practices with local customs. His descendants became prominent figures in Sulu society, and his work laid the foundation for future Islamic governance. In 1380 CE, another key figure, an Arab missionary named Makhdum Karim, arrived on the island of Simanul in Tawi-Tawi. He built the first mosque in the Philippines, known today as the Sheikh Karim al-Makhdum Mosque. Though the original structure has been rebuilt several times, its foundations remain and it is still a functioning place of worship. Makhdum Karim continued the work of spreading Islam throughout the Sulu archipelago, setting the stage for more structured Islamic states. By the mid-15th century, Islam had become deeply rooted in the region. In 1450 CE, Sharif ul-Hashim, a nobleman of Arab-Malay descent from Johor in present-day Malaysia, arrived in Sulu. He married a local princess and founded the Sultanate of Sulu. Taking the name Sharif ul-Hashim, he became the first sultan and established an Islamic political system that blended local customs with Sharia law. This marked the formal Islamization of Sulu and the emergence of a centralized Islamic state in the Philippines. Not long after, in 1515 CE, another important figure, Sharif Kabungsuwan, came to the island of Mindanao. He was said to be a descendant of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and hailed from Johor as well. Upon his arrival in the Cotabato region, he preached Islam and married into local royalty. Sharif Kabungsuwan founded the Sultanate of Maguindanao, further cementing the influence of Islam in Mindanao. Like Sharif ul-Hashim, he created a governance system based on Islamic principles and played a crucial role in uniting local tribes under the banner of Islam. These two sultanates, Sulu and Maguindanao, became the main centers of Islamic power in the Philippines. They established diplomatic and trade relations with neighboring Muslim sultanates in Brunei, Malacca, and even as far as the Ottoman Empire. Islamic law, education, and religious practices flourished in these regions, with local ulama or scholars guiding communities in matters of faith and daily life. However, this flourishing Islamic society faced a major challenge in the 16th century with the arrival of Spanish colonizers. In 1521, Ferdinand Magellan arrived in the Philippines, marking the beginning of Spanish interest in the archipelago. While the Spanish successfully converted much of the central and northern Philippines to Christianity, they met fierce resistance in the Muslim South. Throughout the 16th and 17th centuries, the Spanish launched multiple campaigns to subjugate the sultanates of Sulu and Maguindanao. These attempts were met with determined resistance. Sultan Muhammad di Batuan Kudarat of Maguindanao, who ruled from 1619 to 1671, is remembered as a legendary warrior and statesman. He united various Muslim communities and successfully defended Mindanao from Spanish incursions. His defiant leadership became a symbol of resistance and inspired future generations of Muslims in the region. Despite never being fully conquered, the Muslim sultanates experienced economic blockades and cultural marginalization during the colonial period. The Spanish referred to the Muslims of the south as Moros, a term derived from the Moors of Spain. While intended as a term of otherness, the Moro communities embraced it as a badge of identity and resistance. The arrival of the Americans in 1898, following the Spanish-American War, marked a new chapter. the United States established colonial rule over the Philippines and implemented policies aimed at assimilating the Muslim South into the broader Christian majority state. The Bates Treaty of 1899 was signed with the Sultan of Sulu, promising non-interference in Islamic customs. However, this treaty was later unilaterally abrogated by the US government in 1904, leading to increased resistance and bloodshed, most notably the Budayo massacre in 1906, where over 600 Tausug Muslims were killed by American forces. During the 20th century, the central government of the Philippines encouraged migration of Christian Filipinos into traditionally Muslim regions, leading to displacement and marginalization of native Muslim communities. These grievances eventually gave rise to the Moro struggle for autonomy and self-determination. In the 1970s, the Moro National Liberation Front, MNLF, was formed under the leadership of Nur Misuari. It sought independence for the Bangsamoro people. Years of armed struggle followed. In 1996, a peace agreement was signed between the MNLF and the Philippine government, granting limited autonomy to Muslim-majority regions. Later, the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, MILF, a breakaway group, continued the push for greater autonomy. After decades of negotiation and conflict, a historic milestone was achieved in 2019 with the creation of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, BARMM, following a plebiscite. This new political entity granted more power to local Muslim leaders and recognized the unique identity and history of the Bangsamoro people. Today, Islam remains a vital part of the cultural and spiritual identity of millions of Filipinos, particularly in Mindanao, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi. The communities trace their lineage back to the early days of Makhdum Karim, Sharif ul-Hashim, and Sharif Kabungsuwan, and they continue to uphold the traditions of Islam with pride and resilience. The history of Islam in the Philippines is a testament to peaceful dawah, noble leadership, and unwavering resistance against colonization. It is a reminder that the story of Islam is not confined to the Middle East or South Asia, but is deeply woven into the fabric of Southeast Asia, including the islands of the Philippines. Thank you for watching Islam with Aslan. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Islamic history, please like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel for more compelling stories from the Islamic world. Your support helps keep this knowledge alive. Until next time, peace be upon you.